family's program is not just education. They're getting their own therapy through the arbor, so help them understand their reaction to the disease and how it's impacted them and what they can do to get healthy around it.
And whether or not they're helping and facilitating some of the problem, I guess.
Oh, they typically always are.
And they typically also have some guilt, right? Like they did this to their kid by putting, or their husband, or by putting them in treatment. And so I think sometimes that guilt steps in, and so they try to do too much, and then it just becomes enabling again too. But I know with our family, we speak to it. It's a family problem. I mean, I had a sibling that ran into a lot of problems as a child or teenager. So the blessing again, growing up in it, because I think that's one of the reasons you wanted me to be here too. Is for me, therapy is like not a big. It's not a big deal in the sense that it, it's completely normal.
It's not a negative stigma.
No, right. For me, there's no negative connotation to it. I think we all need it. No one's too good for it. No one's fixed. You can find it in a therapist. You can find it in your pastor. You can find it in a men's group or a women's group, whatever that is. But I think the power of sharing in general.
Right.
So, you spoke about, I kept quiet. I didn't want anyone to know. And then when that switch flipped, it was like, I need to tell everyone. That's like the greatest gift any of us can give anyone, not only to others who might need it, but for yourself. And so, maybe that's why I'm an overshare sometimes, because there's been a lot of therapy over the years.
You grew up sharing it, which is a good thing.
Right. And we've never, as a family, not talked through things. That's also been the blessing of having him as my dad is I'm often corralling other adults and sitting them down and saying, we're not going to slam a door and hide away from this issue. We're going to address it. And I think, not sweeping things under the rug is a big deal. And these families do that for so long that they hit rock bottom. They turn in, they request a family member go get treatment. And so I think sometimes as part of that guilt of their part in it, they try to do too much, and it becomes enabling, or worse, buying a car for a kid who doesn't need to be, having that kind of freedom just yet, because she's still, working through it. I know I'm very grateful for it all, because plenty of my own friends have gone through it, and I'm glad they're still here on this earth, because some of them are not from this disease, and it's really sad and terrible. So I am grateful not only for him and his program specifically, but I do think most of the people I know that have either done treatment or gone through it, whether they're still sober or not, when I look at their families, there's a lot of enabling there. A lot.